Do you like pina colada? Well, I've got the perfect cake for you. Pina colada coconut pound cake. I'm so excited to make this recipe. This recipe is so delicious. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add my flours. So I got here some almond flour. It's been blanched, but you could use the other kind as well. It's 1 cup. Then some coconut flour. We're going to use another 1 cup. The next flour that we're going to add is cornmeal. You can use chia meal, flax seeds, flax meal, whatever you prefer, but I like cornmeal because it's more of a drier ingredient and it just stabilizes the cake. You don't even taste it. Then baking powder and some sugar. And then I'm going to whisk this together just to avoid any lumps. You can also sift it. As a professional chef, I do recommend to sift it, especially if you're doing this recipe for a restaurant or you're selling it. I think it's very important. But since this recipe is just for me, I'm not really going to do that right now. I like to make a little wilt, and then I add my liquid and the vanilla. And I'm specifically using coconut milk because remember, this is a pina colada cake and it's got to taste like coconut. Now, if it gets too thick like this, we're going to add a little bit of water. Alright, so I'm going to add 8 tablespoons. I'm going to use my whisk. Alright, so when the batter's this slightly runny, it just falls off of a spoon, but it's chunky because of the batter, the flours. Okay, then it's ready. So we're just going to give it a good whisk, and we're just going to add it to our mold. Now, I don't want this to be too big, so this is a good size for me. But if you want this to be bigger, just double the recipe. Okay? So I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees. For my vanilla frosting, I got some silken tofu and I wrapped it into 2 towels and I left it in the refrigerator for about 2 hours and it soaked up all the water. So now I just add it to a food processor. I add some vanilla, some sweetener. I added some cornstarch just to test it out, but I didn't like the taste of that, so I don't recommend it. Then I'm going to process it until it's completely smooth. And then set it in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. Now I'm going to set up the cake. Once everything's completely cooled, I put everything together. I added some pineapple compote in the inside, and I'm going to add my frosting on the top. So I give this cake about a 7. Flavor wise, I think it's super good, but I think that the cake just wasn't stable enough. I need to be able to cut it through and successfully cut a slice and it'd be stable, and it wasn't. So I'm going to work on this recipe a little bit more, but I want to share you the recipe because I just love documenting my recipes somewhere where I can save them, and I also like sharing them with you, whether they're successful or not. They tend to be a little bit successful, but anyways, there's always room for improvement. But this recipe is a 7. I do, if you want to make it, I do recommend to do it. It's really good. It tastes good. It just might need some water or something that might stabilize it even more. But I think it just needed a little bit more water and probably a flax egg or something. So, but either way, the recipe is still good and it's awesome. So anyways, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.